Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over the airwaves of Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Number to call up as always is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. I have a confession to make. I will not sit here and be a fake, a phony, or a fraud. I will not be an individual who will sit here, okay? I will not be that individual who sits here and pretends that I'm not noticing the obvious. I still stand by the things that I said. I still stand by the things that I feel. I will not waver at all. But I will confess, because y'all expect Stephen A. to be real, don't you? You don't want me to be a phony. You don't want me to be a fraud. You want me to give it straight. You want me to be a straight shooter, give it to you straight up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm officially scared of the Cowboys. Now, this is a very sickening statement for me to make, and I won't deny that. It gives me no pleasure to admit it. It gives me no pleasure. I feel the way that I feel. I am absolutely, positively scared. I watched the Dallas Cowboys play last night. I watched them take a 17-3 lead. I watched them turn around and give it up and end up tied 20-20 before Ezekiel Elliott scampers for 42 yards on a run, ends up rushing for over 100 yards again, and Dak Prescott completing damn near 90% of his passes. And watching these guys on the defensive side of the ball for the Dallas Cowboys go after it the way that they do, the way Rod Marinelli implores them to do, I have to admit, I'm a bit worried. Dallas Cowboys right now are the best team in the NFC. They look like the best team in football. They must be stopped. Do I know how it's going to happen? No. The difference between me weeks ago and me now is that weeks ago, I was of the mindset, not only can it happen, not only does it have to happen, but it absolutely will happen. The Dallas Cowboys will fall. Now, I'm not so sure. I'm watching these brothers right now play this game of football. And I got to confess to you, they got me hella fire worried. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what my life is going to be like if the Dallas Cowboys end up winning the Super Bowl. But right now, after their 26-20 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night, they're clearly the team to beat. Dak Prescott, 32 of 36 for 279 yards without a turnover. Ezekiel Elliott, 23 carries for 159 yards with a touchdown and a 42-yard run. By the way, I loved it when he jumped into the Salvation Army Bowl, whatever that was. I mean, you can't get much better publicity than that if you're the Salvation Army. I'm here to tell you. I'm just of the mindset, ladies and gentlemen, as we sit here and we discuss this, I'm just being honest with you. And I have to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, I'm very worried. Dallas Cowboys, Ezekiel Elliott is the truth. He just is. Dak Prescott is the truth. He just is. Des Bryant is no scrub. Even though he was a no-show against the Giants a week earlier, he's still a bad boy. Cole Beasley can find a way. Jason Witten, fumble notwithstanding. Damn it, this dude looks big and slow, but he's always open. Always open. I don't know how he does it. He's always open. Always. And he rarely fumbles. So I just look at them right now. Watching this team, watching this season unfold, watching this team do what it does. I'm just in a position, ladies and gentlemen, where I have to confess to you, I'm getting very, very concerned. And whereas before I thought beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Dallas Cowboys would fall, now I'm hopeful but not so sure. I'm trying to figure out how the hell they're going to get beat. Giants have done it twice this year. They're the only team that's beaten them. And when you got a game changer like OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., and you got this defense playing lights out, led by Janoris Jenkins, who got hurt yesterday, I hope he's well, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, with Eli Apple, by the way, I guess you can look at it and say to yourself, hey, somebody can knock them off. But do you know how hard it is to beat the same team 3 times in the same season? It's been done before, but do you know how hard it is to do? Eagles did it to the Cowboys. I think back in 2009. Jacksonville did it in 1999 in Tennessee, if I remember correctly, or vice versa. It can happen. But are you betting your money on it? I just don't know the answer to that question. I just don't know. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. I just got my reservations right now. I really, really do. So that's point number one. Figuring out what team in the NFC is going to beat the Cowboys. Or is it going to even come to that? Maybe it's going to come to the Super Bowl. Because, by the way, transitioning to the AFC, I don't see anybody in the AFC that's going to knock off New England. Kansas City, how do you lose to the Titans yesterday? How does that happen? To the Titans? I don't know. I really, really don't know. So you lose to the Titans. You're the Raiders. You squeeze by the San Diego Chargers. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need 6 field goals to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. You're the Baltimore Ravens. You squeeze by a team with one receiver in Jordan Matthews, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. You're in the AFC South. You're the Houston Texans. You bench Brock Osweiler, and some dude named Tom Savage comes in a quarterback for you. I mean, who the hell, even though we're surprised, now I know that Indianapolis ran over Minnesota. Goodbye, Minnesota's playoff hopes. Goodbye for the season, Adrian Peterson. You should have sat your behind down. Shouldn't have been back yesterday. Shouldn't have been back. I mean, who the hell is going to knock off the New England Patriots? I can't see it in the AFC. I just can't see it. Because the road to the Super Bowl is going through Foxborough. Only way that's going to get interrupted is if the Patriots basically lose their last 2 games. The Jets and the Miami Dolphins, oh, please stop it. Maybe you might lose one a few miles away from South Beach. I doubt it. But I guess it's possible. And then we got to go back to the NFC and say to ourselves, okay, as the Patriots, talk about a blockbuster Super Bowl. The Patriots against the Cowboys? My only problem with that scenario is that I got to deal with Cowboy fans for 2 weeks. I don't want to deal with it. I just don't want to deal with y'all. I don't even want to deal with y'all. So now we need to spend this show focusing on who can knock off the Cowboys. Is it Seattle? Well, their running game is suspect, as well as their offensive line. Is it Atlanta? We can't trust their defense, nor can we trust them on the road. Is it the Detroit Lions where Matthew Stafford ain't 100% healthy and they have no running game? Is it Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers? He is a bad man. But I don't trust their secondary. Redskins, let's see what the hell they do tonight. They do play the Panthers on their home turf, a Carolina Panthers team that ain't nearly as what it was last year. You should beat this team, especially since you're the one that has Josh Norman now. Let's see what the Redskins do tonight. And then, of course, there's the New York Giants. I just don't know what to say, where to go, how to feel about this right now. I'm at a loss. But something has got to give. Simple. These Cowboys must be stopped. Somebody has to step up and stop them. I don't care how you do it. I mean, damn it, kidnap Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott if you have to. Hell, throw some weed in the direction of some of their players. Who knows who'll bite, at least on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know. Do something. Anything. But these Cowboys legitimately are scaring me. They look formidable, y'all. I got to give props where it's due. I damn sure ain't giving them no love, but I got to give props where it's due. The Cowboys are no joke. They are legit. It cannot be denied. And I had to admit at least that much. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Transitioning to a different subject altogether. I want everyone to know I watched the video of Joe Mixon out of Oklahoma. Video was released this weekend. His lawyers released it after the media won a case to have the video released and the courts ruled. The lawyer released it. He wanted it released now because basically, if you're Joe Mixon, you don't want to get drafted. And on the eve of getting drafted, this video comes out. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. In the video, and let's call it what it is, it shouldn't, but I don't give a damn what anybody says. Ethnicity matters. The girl was white. Now I don't give a damn what color she was. You don't hit a woman. Period. But for the purposes of this conversation, him being a young black football player, 200 plus pounds, and literally punching any woman in the face is bad, period. But this is America in these polarizing times, and she was a white girl. Yes, in the eyes of some, no matter what they want to admit, that makes it worse for him. They can slice it any way they want to. But ladies and gentlemen, I must confess to you, no matter what happens, no matter what consequences he suffers, he deserves it. She did push him first. You could have walked away. You could have grabbed her and restrained her from hitting you without hitting her. He did neither. He stepped back and cold cocked this girl in the jaw, breaking 4 bones in her face, and then walked away like it was nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, the significance of this, whether we want to admit it or not, videos matter. Videos matter. All right? Let's be clear. Let's call it what it is. Videos matter. We want to act like it doesn't. We want to act like there's no difference. Let's call it what it is. There shouldn't be a difference. You should be able to read what Joe Mixon did without seeing the video and hold him accountable. But if we're being real about it, a picture is worth 1,000 words, if not more. And the video of this kid out of Oklahoma for the Sooners, punching this girl in the face, cracking her bones in 4 different places. Especially in the aftermath of Ray Rice. He ain't getting around this. He's just not getting around this. It's smart for the video to come out now, as opposed to right on the eve of the draft, because now teams won't panic. They'll know going into this situation what you're going to get. But if folks relented or hesitated to touch him, I'm here to tell you right now, can't blame them. And by the way, that brings in the Tyreek Hill. That his name, John? Dude for the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill. Hit and kicked your pregnant, was it his girlfriend? Pregnant. And he's playing in the NFL. This is bad, y'all. This is bad. And since we know all of this, It says these are things that you're dealing with. I don't know how you get around this. I really and truly do not. We want to act like videos, it shouldn't count. And yeah, you're right, but it does. I could read about Joe Mixon all day and thinks he deserves to be punished. And no matter how serious I believe it is, and what serious ramifications I think he deserves to suffer, the impact of my emotions pale in comparison to once you see the video. Just like Ray Rice, Greg Hardy. We heard about Greg Hardy picking up his then girlfriend and throwing her on a futon bed filled with rifles. We heard about him slamming her arm with a toilet bowl, grabbing her by the neck and threatening to kill her. And her saying, just kill me then, just kill me then. Ladies and gentlemen, what if we saw that with our own two eyes? You trying to tell me the impact would be the same? That's nonsense. That's nonsense. You have two eyes for a reason. The visual matters for a reason. You'd rather watch football on television than listen to it on radio for a reason. Eyes matter. Visual matters. And that's exactly the case with Ray Rice, which is why Ray Rice, in some people's eyes, having shown the appropriate level of contrition, having worked to rectify and remedy the decisions emanating from his transgressions, that's why you can't let go of what he did more so than you can let go of what Greg Hardy did. That's going to be the case with Joe Mixon. This video is going to follow this kid wherever he goes for years and years and years to come. There is a video out there showing you literally stepping back and cold cocking a woman in the jaw. The fact that you did that is egregious enough. You should have been arrested. Should have been prosecuted. Should have been suspended for the year. It should affect your draft status. And it will. Because they'll make sure that video's played again. But the fact that you're a 200-pound black man, and that was a young white lady, don't think that that's not going to factor into the equation either. And for those of you who will question it, ladies and gentlemen, black folks are qualified to say this. Because there's plenty of cases where we've lamented the lack of seriousness attached to a situation. Because black folks are affected as opposed to white folks. But just to be clear, this is one of those instances where ain't too many black people going to have a problem with whatever happens to Joe Mixon. Because what he did was inexcusable. And there are consequences to be suffered because of it. He has to own that. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Your phone calls and more in a minute with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. 844 call Dish today or visit Dish.com to sign up. The new Flex Pack from Dish. It's over 50 popular channels for just $39.99 a month with your first channel pack included. Add more channel packs like Locals, Variety, Kids, News, and more for $10 a month each. Get the skinny. Call 1-844-CALL-DISH or visit Dish.com to sign up. Requires credit qualification, 2-year commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. One TV included. Taxes and surcharges extra. Other restrictions apply, of course. Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. In approximately 6 minutes or so, Hall of Fame running back extraordinaire Eric Dickerson of the Los Angeles Rams. He'll be on the show with us, sitting right next to me. Obviously, he's been in the news a lot lately. You know him and Jeff Fisher and all of this other stuff. He's going to talk to us. Looking forward to that. So stick around. Eric Dickerson's coming in the house. Can't wait for that one. You understand? Can't wait for that one. 888-MAD-DOG-6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jeff in San Antonio. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. What's up, Jeff?
Mr. Smith, it's always an honor to talk to you. You're a man of integrity and high value, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
I'm holding you down I'm holding you down. I hate the Dallas Cowboys probably a little bit more than you do.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel for you. I was listening to you this morning.
What's that light?
The New York Football Giants is the light. Nobody talks about the Giants. Everyone's talking about the Packers, the Seahawks, the Lions. Let me tell you, the New York Giants are designed to stop the Dallas Cowboys. We built our team to stop their running game. We put pressure on the quarterback week after week after week. There's not an offensive line that can stop our rush or stop our run defense.
Well, listen.
We've got to. Yeah.
So what are you saying? You're saying that the Giants going to win because why?
Pressure on the quarterback, and we stop the run. Ezekiel Elliott is the nucleus for that offense.
All right.
There is not another defensive line that can stop him. That the Cowboys cannot protect.
All right, my man. I got you. I got a little bit distracted, my brother, because you have to take a backseat to my next guest. I'm sorry. I love my callers. Y'all mean the world to me. There's no show without y'all. But damn it, this next guest is more important than y'all. So you're just going to have to get over it. I'm talking about my man, Hall of Fame running back extraordinaire, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams. The one and only Eric Dickerson is in the house. My brother.
How you doing, Steve?
It's good to see you, my man.
What's
it's good
happening,
to see you someplace other than the airport, which is
we usually run at the airport. You got that.
First of all, how you feeling, man? It's good to see you up here. I want to know what the hell are you doing here this weekend when it's about 20 degrees and when you live in L.A. Why in God's name would make you come out here now?
Well, I figured I need to come out and see ESPN, the headquarters again. I ain't been out here in a long time, but let me tell you, it's mighty chilly out here for me.
Yes, it's cold.
Yes,
it's cold.
Yes,
you can't wait to get back to L.A., right?
I can't wait to get back home.
I'm moving out to L.A. in 5 years. I'm determined.
5 years?
I made my decision.
You sure?
I can't take it.
You
I
sure?
can't take it anymore.
You
I
sure?
got to get to a sunshine state with palm trees, sunshine going outside. But I got to get a body first. I'm getting myself in shape. I can't be in the sunshine looking skinny and
I'm gonna ask you one question.
Yeah.
Let's just say they threw it out there. Look, we're gonna give you 5 years, $50 million. Would you stay out here then?
Here?
Yeah.
Well, we would have.
We'd have a long discussion about.
I can afford a full length mink coat. I mean, Peter might not
I figured
like
that things changed. I figured
there we go.
I just wanted to see. I just wanted to see. That's how NFL coaches are.
Well, here's my point. My point is, if they offered that, I would say, well, since I'm so important, you don't mind me moving to L.A. What's the problem?
No, we need you here. We need you here.
Where's the problem?
We need you here.
They got an L.A. facility in New York.
But they need you here.
Okay.
And your presence is felt here.
There you go. Eric Dickerson right here with Stephen A. on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Look, man, you've made news over the last several weeks. Jeff Fisher is officially fired as the head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. When you first heard that he was gone, I want to know your instant reaction.
I just thought it's about time. I mean, that's just exactly what I thought it was about time. After I saw that game with Atlanta, I watched the whole game. And I watched it by myself at home, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I said, they got to do something about this. I mean, and, I think Jeff Fisher really had checked out a while ago. Just my opinion. And, no life on the sideline. You got to have, young players are about passion. They watch their coach. They go by their lead. And I mean, for me, I was like, they got to do something about this. But I wasn't shocked. I mean, I really wasn't shocked about it.
I was wondering, and I was saying to myself, when they gave him a contract extension at the beginning of this season sometimes, I just said, what the hell is going on with this team? And then, little birdie got in my ear and was like, excuse me, Mr. Demoff, the executive VP, his daddy is Jeff Fisher's agent, and that might have explained it. Was it that simple to you, Eric Dickerson, or was it something else going on that would enable them to believe they could get away with giving this man a contract extension?
Well, look, I've been saying this for months. Steve, and I said this for at least 3 months about, I thought it was a conflict of interest. I said on my show, my AM 570, and, they try to bypass. Oh, no, that's not. I'm like, come on, man. I said, that's a conflict. That's wrong. I said, you got the CO who runs the team. Mm-hmm. You got the head coach is Jeff Fisher, and you got his dad, his agent. I said, there's something wrong with that. And then all of a sudden, people start picking up on it. They start checking to see was it true. And I think that's why he got that extension. And look, if you're gonna get a guy an extension, why not announce it early? Why not announce when you come to LA? Right. At least when they're 3-1, they should have come out. Hey, we gave Jeff Fisher an extension.
Why do you think they didn't announce it?
I think they were trying to be sneaky. I think they were trying to hide it from the fans, and just see what happened with the season. I think if he'd have went 8-8 again, I think they would have announced it. I really do. If they'd went 9-7, I mean, because I think on Hard Knocks, Jeff Fisher said they were going to lose a football game or something like that. I mean, they were going to I think they said they were not going to lose a football game. He wasn't going to go 7-9 or 8-8, and here we are 4-10 or 4-10.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking to Eric Dickerson right here, Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Take us back to when you said you got a call that you're a guy that, you know, you don't need anything from them, but you might have you and your boys, you might want to go to a game and hang out on the sidelines, whatever the case may be. You're the greatest player in franchise history. You've earned that kind of cachet. But you got a phone call from the Rams, specifically from Jeff Fisher. Take us back to that moment.
Well, I'd heard the grumbling. I'd been hearing this grumbling for a couple of weeks, you know, but they didn't like what I was saying on my show. And I would try to get some of the players to come on, and they were like, well, we can't get him on. We didn't get him on. I'm like, well, why not? Well, you know, they don't feel comfortable coming. I'm like, what? I knew that was from the PR department.
Right.
So finally, they asked me to come out to the groundbreaking ceremony when they were having the new stadium built. And I said, okay. I went out, and as I was leaving, I asked one of the guys that worked for the Rams. I said, hey, I want to see if I can get those passes for some of my friends for the sidelines. Now, keep in mind, Stephen, I didn't need them passes. I as a Hall of Famer, you get 4 sideline passes, 4 tickets. I have season tickets, and I can go on any sideline. But I just wanted to see, was it true, really? Was it true what they were saying? Mm-hmm. So I asked the guy, he said, well, Eric, man, we're not sure. You know, we got to call the PR department. I said, the stuff you said on the radio. I said, what stuff? Well, about the team. I said, am I lying? Well, no, you're not lying, but I'll say, well, what's the problem? Well, I tell you, the coach is going to call you, Coach Fisher, or Les Snead's going to call you. I said, no problem, have him call me. I welcome that call. Mm-hmm. So I'm on the phone with my best friend, went to college together. So he knows me very well. My friend Charles Drayton. We went to college together. Yep. And we talked about 20 minutes. Now he said, really, Dick, they going to call? He said, man, what's wrong with them? So I said, man, I don't know. He said, they can't handle the truth. So sure enough, I said, Trey, let me call you back. It's a 314 number. That's St. Louis. I said, let me call you. He said, man, I said, I'm going to call you back. So I answered the phone. Hey, hello, Eric. I say, hey, it's Jeff Fisher. I said, how you doing? He said, I'm good. He says, man, I'm going to get right at this. I don't even have time for this. I'm just going to get right at it. He said, you're not going to be asking things from the team. You're not going to be coming over, talking about my team, talking about the coaches, and getting stuff from us. As long as I'm head coach, we're not doing anything for you. We're not supporting anything you do. I'm letting you know this. And so it's coming from you. You haven't heard from nobody else. It's coming from me. And as long as he kept repeating that, as long as I'm head coach, you know, this is not happening, blah, blah, blah. So I just listened. I didn't say a word. So I said, okay, Jeff. I really think he thought he was going to hang up after that. I said, you finished? He said, yeah. He said, okay. I said, no. I said, it's my turn now. I said, okay. I said, Jeff, let me explain something to you. First of all, I said, I'm a grown ass man. I'm not a little kid. I said, man, you think I need something from the Rams? I said, I'm not sitting around waiting for y'all to come back. I said, that's not me. I said, anybody who knows Eric Dickerson, that's not my motto. I don't do that. I said, man, I have been in L.A. for a long time. I said, Jeff, my thing is I want my football team to win. That's all I want. I said, what I'm saying, am I lying? I said, if I got on the radio and said, man, have you seen those great punts the Rams do? Have you see their uniform? I mean, people think I'm crazy. Right. I said, I want my football team to win. I'm frustrated. And then all of a sudden, man, he goes back, man, Eric, that's not what I want. We want you to be a part, blah, 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 this. And just the funny thing was he said, you know, we have Britney Spears on the sideline. And I'm like, man, I don't care about no Britney Spears. I mean, I want my team to win football games. I said, Jeff, I'm for the players. I'm always a player first. I said, I'm never trying to hurt the players. And I told him, I said, Jeff, they could fire you. I said, they could fire Les Snead. They could fire Kevin Denmark, but I'll always be Eric Dickerson of the Los Angeles Rams. So we talked a little bit more, and he said something. I said, Jeff, I'm going to say this. I said, Eddie George said you're a nice guy. I said, everybody say you're a nice guy. I don't know you. I really don't know. You don't know me. You don't know my personality. Right. I said, but I'm going to say this much here. As long as you're head coach, I'll never come to another game. I'll never do anything with the Rams as long as you're there. I said, so I don't want to call you.
You told him that. You told him that when he was on the phone.
I told him on the phone.
Right. But did you tell him that because of what he said to you when he called, or did you decide, I'm not going there as long as this guy's the head coach because he needs to go?
No, because he said, what he said to me is, when he called me, that I make his players feel, I told him, when I hung up, I said, I don't want the players feel uncomfortable, and I don't want your coach. I did tell him, I don't care nothing about your coaches. I said, I want to win. I said, but I don't want to make the players feel uncomfortable. I said, so you don't ever have to worry about seeing me at any Ram events again. Well, Eric, that's not what I said. I said, it's done. I said, no problem. I said, Jeff, thank you for the call. I said, thank you for having the balls to call me, and have a nice night. And I didn't say anything about this for 2 weeks.
Right.
I didn't say anything. And on my show, finally they always tease me about the Rams. You the Rams number one, outlaw. They're going to get you for saying this about them. And finally, Fred Rogan said it to me 2 weeks later, and I said, man, I'm tired of hearing this. I said, I really am. I said, I'm tired. I got to tell the truth. I tell what I say. I say, you think these fans out here don't see what's going on? Mm-hmm. I mean, ain't nobody stupid. I say, so, and I told him what happened. He said, what? They called you? I said, yeah.
So basically, you're admitting that you get a taste of my world. You get a taste of my world.
I'm getting some of what you get. I know how it feels. I mean, some people can't handle the truth. Look, the truth is not always popular, but it is the truth. My grandfather had a saying, the truth will go all the way around the world. A lie will go halfway and come back. This situation would happen to me and Jeff. I will never forget it. Is if I'm 80 years old and I don't have Alzheimer's,
that's right.
I will never get this conversation because I know what that man said to me. And my main thing is that I didn't like how he was talking to me. He was like, that's why I told him, I am not a little kid. I'm a grown man. I'm not one of these kids you talk to. It was almost like, look, boy, that's how I felt. So,
and it's interesting that you say that because we're talking to Eric Dickerson, Hall of Famer. Right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, star with the Los Angeles Rams for years, one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. It's interesting that you bring that up because a lot of people think like that when it comes to Vince Young. They think about Vince Young and the kind of career he had or did not have. And to some degree, they blame it on Jeff Fisher because Jeff Fisher didn't want him when he got him in Tennessee, and we all leaning on the Eddie George, who's my man, and others. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Jeff Fisher, he would never do such a. See, that's where I think. That's what I loved about it. Because what I loved about it, I was like, so what I was hearing now somebody like Eric Dickerson is there to confirm it. Did you find yourself saying to yourself, this is who this guy really is, and all of that other stuff everybody's saying about him, such a nice guy as a facade?
Well, I'd heard the things about Jeff, and like I said, and I don't make a judgment call on anyone. I'm that person because I think people have judged us all. I've been judged on things that people have said about me. They don't really know me. Mm-hmm. You meet me and you make your own assumption. That's where I've always been. So when I met Jeff, he was cool, but like I said, I don't know him. But the way he talked to me, and I mean, if you'd have heard the tone of voice, like I said, when he told me, we're not going to support anything you do, and as long as I'm head coach, he said it to me twice, as long as I'm head coach, we're not doing anything for you. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. But, most definitely, I think, all of us have sometimes two faces. People have, everybody has a bad day. Yeah. You have a bad day. But, you are who you are. The person you are, you're always that person. The person you see, I'm always this person. Now, if you you do something to me or say something to me that I don't like, I'm going to tell you how I feel. I'm that person. I'm that guy. Like I said, I'll say, I was the guy for this job, really. And most definitely, I feel like people who like Jeff Fisher, probably they haven't seen the other side of Jeff Fisher. I mean, but I don't really know Jeff, and I can just say that.
In today's culture, Eric Dickerson, I mean, you started in the NFL at a time where, we saw things were traditional, same coaches you saw all the time, whatever the case would be. One of the things I spoke about on First Take today, one of the things that bothers me, it's not so much that Jeff Fisher was bad. It's how long he was allowed to be bad. 22 years, 16 times, this dude didn't make the playoffs. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2003, hasn't been even better than 500 since 2008. And we're in 2016. This man just lost his job. Why or how can somebody that inept last that long?
They recycle these codes. It's the buddy system. It really is. It's like you hire someone. It's like, don't forget what I did for you now. I took care of you. That's why it's the buddy system. I mean, I will say this here. And it's not a racial thing. A black man could not do that. He cannot do 5 years. There's no way that would ever happen. I mean, and I'm not saying because he's black. No coach, I don't care what color you are. No coach would be able to be 5 years and have a losing season every year. Matter of fact, it was a survey done that if Bill Belichick would go 0-16 for the next 6 years, he would still have a better winning percentage than Jeff Fisher. Now, he'd go 0-16. Think about that. Not win one game for 6 years, and you still have a job. It's just something wrong with that. I really find something wrong with that. That just doesn't happen for us. I know that. I mean,
I know it too. I say it all the time. You know me.
It doesn't happen for us. It's just the truth. It is what it is. Hey, look, I'm not nothing racial for me. It's just the truth, and it is what it, and that's the truth. But I just don't understand it. I kept going back to Kevin Demoff was the COO. His dad was his agent. He knew Jeff Fisher. He was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. Most definitely, that's the buddy system. He's gonna keep a job. He's most definitely gonna keep that job. So that's why.
Before I let you get on out of here, I'd be remiss in asking you about some of today's issues as it pertains to these players. I'm watching these Cowboys. You know I can't stand the Cowboys.
I don't like them either.
You and I.
But I have to give them credit when they win.
I got to give credit where credit is due. They starting to scare me. I'm starting to get a little bit scared. Because this damn Ezekiel Elliott, this brother is something special. You've seen great running backs. You were a great running back. Talk to me about this kid's potential based on what you see.
You know, what I see in him is that he's good at following his blockers, and they do a great job. As a team, that's what I would say, as a team, they really do. I don't think that he would be the same player without Dak Prescott. I really don't. That offensive line is phenomenal. He's fortunate to be on that football team. He really does. I think and I hope it never happens to him, but if you ever go to a bad football team then you'll see the difference. So a football team can bring the best out in you. And I think it's bringing the best out in him. He really is. I mean, I text him and talked to him in week 1 and 2. And when he was kind of struggling, turned the ball over. And I text him, I say, look, just let it come to you. I said, it'll happen for you. I promise you. And he texted me, they said, thanks, man. And sure enough, and when it started happening, I said, I told you, it would just start happening for you.
As you reflect, watching today's game and watching these players, as you reflect on your career, is there anything you wish you would have done differently?
Man, you know,
I mean, to get the money, to get Super Bowl championship, whatever the case may be.
I wish that I could have stayed with the Rams my whole career. I really do. It was a different time. It really was. I mean, the way they treated the players. I was the only guy at that time, and I was vilified for it. I just wanted to be paid fairly. That's all I wanted. I wasn't trying to say I want to make more than anybody. I said, pay me like you pay the quarterbacks. I said, Marino makes $1.5 million. I said, pay me $1 million. And I won't forget, the GM at that time, John Shaw, told me we'll never pay a running back $1 million. Never. That's not going to happen. And I couldn't understand. I even gave him a better option. I said, I tell you what, I am so confident in my ability. I went to his office. I said, give me the same contract that Marino Elway has, a 1-year deal. And if I don't perform, just go back to my old, give me the same money I had last year. And he said, no, we won't do that. It just goes to show. And the lucky thing about now, in this day and age, you got Twitter, all the different social media things that players have a voice. Because back in those days, you were vilified. And, the beat writers, they say what they want to say about you. The team writers, they say what they want. And the papers, because they were ran by the teams pretty much. So you had no voice. Your voice was whatever you said. I had one writer, I told him, kind of talking to him, and he wrote some of the things I said, but then he followed it up by saying, but this is what he really means.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
So
that's unethical, right?
That's just how it was.
You should have had me as your beat writer. It would have got out the way it was supposed to get out. That's what it would have been a little bit different. This is exactly what he said. What do y'all have to say about it? Because this is what he's saying. This is what he's saying.
Remember, you got to think, this was in the 80s now. Right out of the 70s, this was in the 80s. So things were a little different now.
No, we weren't there.
Exactly.
We weren't there.
We weren't there.
When we got there, it's a different ball game.
You got it.
My man.
Hey, man, always good seeing you. Hey, man, I'm going to say this, man. Thank you for your support, brother. I really appreciate it.
You know it. I love you, man. Appreciate it. Eric Dickerson, the great Eric Dickerson, right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Happy holidays, man. Great to hear from you. Nothing but the best to you and your family.
Hey, happy holidays to you, too. Don't go moving to L.A. It's going to turn you soft like Kellerman there. He's fragile from all the time.
First of all, ain't no fragility with me, my man. Ain't nothing. L.A. ain't going to change me.
It'll corrupt you. It'll corrupt you all the time.
It'll make me happier because I'm warmer. That's about it. But go ahead.
Happier and softer, my man. The New England weather toughens you up. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I wanted to empathize with you about your distress over the Cowboys making the Super Bowl. My nightmare is the Patriots against the Cowboys. I've never told you this, but I can't stand the Cowboys only a slight degree less than I can't stand the New England Patriots. I was a Cowboys fan from the time I was 10 in 1967, right up until the day that Jerry Jones fired Tom Landry in the press. Tom Landry found out in the newspapers that he had been fired when Jerry Jones bought that team. And I did a 180 and have hated them ever since. But I'm telling you, I think that we're going to see actually a repeat of Super Bowl II this year with the Packers against the Oakland Raiders. Okay? And let me tell you why.
No way in hell. Those two teams are not making it to the Super Bowl. One, if you're lucky. Both of them ain't going. I promise you that.
Packers against the Raiders. And, when I was watching First Take today, I thought I was watching a Patriots propaganda show on TV. My word. The only reason that the Patriots won the game against the Broncos yesterday is there were 5 fumbles in the game, and they recovered all 5 of them.
Carlton. Carlton, this, you and I always part ways on this because their record is their record. They find ways to win, Carlton. Stop nitpicking.
Guess who leads the league in fumbles this year?
They do. They do. Which gets you back to the Deflategate, which is the point you ultimately want to make. No argument here.
Eight years with Jimmy Hotfingers. I call him Jimmy Hotfingers. Jim McNally.
Fair enough.
They were best in the league, Stephen A. They were best. They're worse. They're worse.
Carlton, what's their record?
I know, but it's going to catch up to them. I'm telling you, you're not going to have a repeat of what happened yesterday where they get lucky and they fall on 5 of them. Are you going to tell me it's skill that they actually got to fall on all 5 of them yesterday?
I got you. I understand, Carlton. I can't argue with you.
Catch up with them.
I can't argue with you, but their record, Carlton, is 12-2, man. You can't keep doing this, man. You do it all the time.
It's going to bite them. You watch just like you think that Jerry Jones is going to bite the Cowboys, this fumbling is going to end up biting the New England Patriots. And one more thing, Stephen. Now that I've got, not only the New England Patriots fan who hates me like poison, now I got the Cowboys fans who hate me like poison. I want to add one more group to this mix of people who hate me like poison. And listen to me here, because I'm gonna touch on something that is gonna make people absolutely bonkers. Okay? And it's about this Mixon thing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. If we were talking about a 275-pound guy and say a 150-pound guy, and the 150-pound guy did to the 275-pound guy what the woman did to Mixon.
Okay.
Would we have any issue with the guy? And he didn't cold cock him. Cold cock him implies it was a sucker punch. She just punched him in the face, okay? And she'd assaulted him 3 times before he did it. And I'm not excusing what he did. I'm saying he still should have walked away. What drives me crazy is when people like Molly and Max do not even mention that this woman assaulted him 3 times before he punched her. And he shouldn't have punched her. I'm not excusing what he did.
Right.
But the idea that they pretend it didn't exist. Who caused that situation?
You saw I brought it up. Because
as an afterthought at the very end, and nobody even mentioned it when you brought it up.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea that Molly didn't say, no, women cannot go around assaulting guys just willy-nilly without even mentioning it, okay? And again, I'm not excusing what he did. He got suspended for a year, so he did pay a price for this. But the idea that they pretended it just didn't even exist.
Well, listen, here's the reality, Carlton. We're going into deeper waters here in this regard. We live in an age here where women have been so victimized and, by punks and no good what's out there.
Agreed.
Physically harmed, and they've been so silent that the fear is that by pointing out that truth that you just pointed out, that there are some women, all right, that have no business putting their hands on men. The bottom line is that there are so many women who have not done that and have been victimized and have been forced to be silent because their trials and tribulations, their sufferings have not been addressed, that this is the fallout from that. So you're right, and I totally agree with you. Nobody should be putting their hands on anybody. And women out there who hit men and men don't hit women, we don't talk about that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I'm all for fairness and equality.
That's right. Fairness and equality. But the fact is that according to the National Organization for Women and others with these statistics, 85% of the victims of violence between men and women are women.
Agreed.
That can't be ignored.
That.
Okay.
But we've got to stay grounded in reality, i.e. we can't pretend that she didn't, punch him, slap him in the face, grab him and slap him in the face, and before that assault him, a 3rd time. We just can't pretend that didn't exist because Because if we do, you're going to get pushback from all sorts of people that go, what are you, dreamland?
Listen.
We should have said he still should have walked away. He should have walked away. But we can't pretend that she didn't instigate the whole damn thing.
Gotcha. Appreciate the call, Carlton, and appreciate that perspective. Appreciate that perspective. Very, very much so. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Top of the 2 o'clock hour. 15 minutes into hour number 2. We'll have the great Merrill Hodge, NFL analyst extraordinaire for ESPN. He'll be on the line with us to break down some of yesterday's action. We'll get back to your phone calls and more. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Watching CNN right now, happening now. The Electoral College voting is underway to seal President-elect Trump's victory in the November 9th elections from last month. So I can't see anything happening personally. Can't see that. But you never know. It's kind of crazy right now. Russia's in the news all the time. So these are some scary times. Some scary times. At least we have sports, right? At least that's what they tell us. 888 Mad Dog 6, 888-623-3646. In approximately 12 minutes or so, the great Merrill Hodge will be in studio with yours truly talking about NFL action from this past weekend. Calvin in Chicago, you're live with Stephen A. Mad Dog. What's up, Cal?
What's going on, Stephen A. Smooth?
I'm doing all right, bro. Talk to me.
Not much, man. I've got 3 things pertaining to Chicago. First of all, yesterday I watched the game, and I'm a Bears fan, but I gotta confess, man, Aaron Rodgers is just a great quarterback, man.
He's like, no. Say it with me. He's a bad man.
He is a bad man. I know,
Yes.
and it pisses me off to say that because, I mean, it's like to the point where you were right, Stephen A. It seemed like since Jay Cutler was so garbage that Matt Barkley gave us a chance. So they're not saying he's a long-term answer, but he's not the short-term problem. So, I mean, it's like, what the hell? They couldn't see for years that this guy wasn't worth nothing. You could have been found the prospect in that magnitude.
Yep.
But but you're right, Stephen A. But the last thing is, too, I agree with you on the domestic thing, but it's a video footage of a former Chicago police officer named Anthony Abbott that he beat up a woman in a bar. I agree. I don't think our brother should be hitting women or nothing like that. But I think I would like for him to be pointed out, too, as well, because that was really an annihilation that happened, and this guy didn't even serve a day in jail. So,
okay. That's anybody. And by the way, listen, let me be very, very clear. It ain't just the black dudes hitting women.
Right.
I'm talking about men. Okay?
Exactly.
I didn't pin it down on anybody. I'm saying, look, you can walk away, and for those who say don't walk away, well, let me be the first to tell you, there's nothing wrong with grabbing somebody to stop them from hitting you.
And that's the point.
That's not hitting.
Right.
You don't have to hit them. You can grab them to stop them from hitting you.
And that's it. We got more manpower in this logically, so I mean, just more naturally. So you should be able to fend off and hold them back from hitting you. You're right.
That's all.
And that's I got a daughter, so I appreciate your service, Stephen A. Man, you're a good guy, man. Keep rolling hard, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. By the way, this dude Aaron Rodgers that people were talking about. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is just done. I mean, did you hear John? Did you hear Nuno? He's having such a horrible year. Such a horrible year. Completing 65% of his passes, 32 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 100, a QBR of 72 or 73. I'm sorry. I mean, what an awful year. Aaron Rodgers is awful. I mean, did you hear the news? Just like I asked him the other day when he was on this show. Did you hear the news? What an awful, awful year by Aaron Rodgers. Do you know what teams would give to have, if you ain't the New England Patriots, you'd give your left arm to have Aaron Rodgers. Let's call it what it is. Please. John in Miami, you're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. Good afternoon, John. How are you, man? Happy holidays.
Thank you, Stephen A. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
I'm disguising my voice. This is Mr. Dolphin. I disguise my voice this way. We need to make sure. Don't you dare say I sound like Batman, because I'm not Batman. What I was trying to say is that we need to get the first of all, I don't want to say it because you're about to make me throw up. The Dallas Cowboys, let's get rid of them. We don't want to talk about them. Let's go ahead and take them on out the picture. Make sure we don't get no more calls.
Stop right there. Stop. Make your point. Don't call up to this show and tell me what to do. Make your point. You wasting your time. Go ahead, bro.
All my Dolphin warriors out there want to know what do Miami need to do to get into the playoffs?
Win these next two games.
Buffalo.
Win these next two games.
We beat Buffalo. We lose against the Patriots, which we might. I'm not sure, but we still get a chance.
You'll still get a chance because Denver's struggling. First of all, let's look at it this way. Listen to me. Baltimore struggled, right? Baltimore, you got to remember, Baltimore struggled. Now, you lost to Baltimore. They blew you out. They beat you 38-6. So you don't want to get into any tie with them, but you one game up on them right now, okay? Excuse me, because they're 8-6. You're like 9-5. You can't lose another game, all right? If you lose, I understand Baltimore's about to lose to the Steelers this weekend.
Okay, that sounds good.
So you ain't going to have them to worry about. Then you got Denver.
Okay.
Denver just lost to New England yesterday. They're a shell of themselves. Because they're a shell of themselves, you should be able to get in even if you lose to New England. You'll end up 10-6 on the season, and the likelihood is that you should be able to pull it off. Because Baltimore will have 7 losses. There's nobody coming out of the AFC South in a wild card capacity, and that leaves you with the West to contend with.
Okay, sounds good. That sounds real good. Thank you, Stephen, for all that. I appreciate it. We need to talk more about Miami. Everybody keep going.
Stop right there. We'll talk about Miami when y'all are worthy. Y'all haven't been in the playoffs in years. Y'all have flat out stunk. Don't get too happy now. Now Denver got Kansas City and Oakland to close out the season. So they got their work cut out for them. You're absolutely right. But don't get too happy now. Because we both know that the Miami Dolphins have stunk for years. Don't get too happy. Y'all ain't been in the playoffs since 2008. Don't sit up there talking about why you ain't talking about us.
Matt Moore stole 4 touchdowns. You got to remember this.
I don't care. I don't care. I said 2008. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. 7 full seasons you haven't been in the playoffs. And if you don't make it this year, it'll be 8. You don't get to talk about why we're not talking about you when y'all can't get to the playoffs.
You know what? My word, Stephen, we going to the playoffs and all my Dolphin Warriors out there.
Time out. Your word don't mean anything right now. You know why, John? Because you called up to ask me what you going to do to make the playoffs. You should have known. You didn't know. You know why? Because you're nervous about your Dolphins. So why the hell should any of us feel confident about them? Handle your business, then come talk to me. Have a nice day. Let's go to Ed in South Dakota. You're live with Stephen A. on Mad Dog. What's up, Ed?
Hey, Stephen. How you doing there, buddy?
Good. Talk to me, buddy.
Yeah, I just want to know your opinion. Who does the Browns need to fire and hire to be relevant next season?
I don't think they need to fire anybody. I think they need to get a quarterback that they can rely upon. I think this year they were going to suffer because they're bereft of talent. They don't have it right now. It's just that simple. I think that for the most part, you guys have been competitive. Yeah, you got blown out by the Bulls yesterday, but you played Cincinnati competitively. You played, you played a few of them. You played the Jets competitively. You played the Bengals competitively. You played Tennessee competitively. You should have beaten Miami earlier in the year. You should have beaten Baltimore earlier in the year. You should have been 2-1 after 3 games.
Okay.
So listen, what I'm saying to you is that you need more talent. I'm not going to sell out Hugh Jackson like that. You need more talent. You don't have it yet. That's your problem.
Now, honestly, I would love to see Drew Brees as quarterback.
Drew Brees ain't coming to Cleveland. Veterans who are interested in winning are not coming to Cleveland. That's not going to happen. Get over that. Get over that. Don't dream. Don't do that to yourself. Appreciate it, man.
We can all dream. Merry Christmas.
All right,
to
Merry
you, brother.
Christmas to you, bro. O'Dane in California, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, O'Dane?
How you doing, Stephen A, man? Long time listener, man. First time actually getting
Appreciate
to
you, man.
you, man.
Thank you so much. What's going on?
Man, I just want to say, man, I love your vocabulary, Stephen A, man. It's just phenomenal, man. I just got to give you that, bro.
Thank you, bro.
I want to talk about my Giants. I want to know why nobody is talking about my New York Giants right now. Because
well, that's not true, Tyler. That's not accurate. Everybody's been talking about the Giants because you're the only team that beat the Cowboys.
And that's the only. Is that the reason?
Everybody's been talking about the Cowboys. Your defense is looking now. They haven't gotten specific. Like for example, this defense and the way the defense is playing, they haven't talked enough about the defense. That's fair Because with that secondary, with Jenkins, DRC, with Eli Apple, they're no joke. Now, you got to be able to get to the quarterback. They're labeling you to because they're locking down receivers, and that's helping you. But then your offense has been inconsistent. Your running game hasn't been consistent. Your offensive line has been sporadic. And Eli's been inconsistent. That's your problem.
Man, Eli been a problem for years, man. I just sometimes I don't understand. I don't understand what he's doing, man. I have too much red zone interceptions. I don't get it. I don't get it, man.
I got you.
I really don't.
I got you.
Really, but we are the kryptonite to them Cowboys. Cause when we see them again, and we will see them again, and we're gonna take care of business. This time, I don't think they're gonna score though. I don't see them put them no points on the board.
I got you, and I appreciate that. But here's the deal: in the end, what it comes down to is that Eli's sporadic behavior and inconsistencies give you a reason not to be that high on the Giants. But the Giants can beat anybody right now. That I will confess. I will admit that. LJ in Houston, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, LJ?
How you doing, Stephen A., man?
Talk to me, my brother. What's up?
First of all, happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays to you as well.
I had to catch you before. I was going on vacation, so I wanted to catch you today. I saw you looking at Donovan McNabb this morning on First Take with a disgusted look because he said that they need to put Brock Osweiler back in that starting lineup after the performance he had yesterday. And you also said that they had to ride with him last week because they gave him 37 guaranteed. So I need to know, is your position has changed on Brock Osweiler starting and putting Tom Savage in?
No. Donovan was saying that he was going to start. I'm saying to you his career in Houston is over. Here's why. Brock Osweiler, some argue, might be the worst quarterback in football this year. My issue is not even so much with his talent or lack thereof at times. Holding the ball too long, overthrowing, underthrowing dudes, no pocket presence, all of that. Here's the problem. The people in Houston have lost faith in him. Mm-hmm. See, that's where I'm looking at. What I'm saying to you is this. Like Donovan McNabb, when he got drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, remember they booed him for being the number 2 overall pick because they wanted Williams, Ricky Williams. Remember that?
Yeah.
Here's my deal. They booed Donovan before he ever played. That's entirely different than being booed once you've played. See the difference? The fans in Houston have said, we've seen enough. We don't like this dude. We think that he got away with it. He robbed us for the $72 million, $37 million in guarantees. Get him the hell up out of here. That's what they're saying. And by the way, Houston, more so than most cities, would know an awful quarterback when they see one.
You're right about that, because I was going to bring it up. Even if we had Brian Hoyer last year, he still threw 19 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and only 11 games.
You know what? I won't call Brock Osweiler awful in terms of his abilities. You know what Brock Osweiler is?
What's that?
Scared.
Scared.
It's not, you got to remember, he hesitant to throw the ball. It ain't like he's some gunslinger and can't get it right. He's scared to throw.
But don't we got to give Bill O'Brien some criticism as well with the play calling, throwing a fade on the goal line?
You can, absolutely. But the problem is that Bill O'Brien is doing other things right, and you're still finding ways to manage them winning games. So because of that, you can give him somewhat of a mulligan because the quarterback position hasn't worked well for him. But Brock Osweiler looks scared. And you know why ultimately Brock Osweiler deserves the heat? Because he left Denver. Everybody talks about the money. Is it possible, LJ, he left Denver because he was scared because having to succeed Peyton Manning was too much for him to stomach? It's one thing to sub for him when you know he's due to come back. You playing with house money then. But to be the actual replacement once he retires, I don't think Brock Osweiler wanted that challenge.
You might be right, Stephen A. I can't deny it, man.
All right, man.
Have a great week, man.
All right, you do the same, bro. 888 Mad Dog 668 XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. On the line with us right now, as promised, is NFL analyst extraordinaire for the ESPN family. I'm talking about the one and only Merle Hodge. He's on the line with us right now. What's going on, Merle? How are you? How's everything?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good, man. We're getting close to playoff time, baby.
My man, here's the deal. I just finished speaking to somebody on the phone from Houston. Okay. They were calling to ask about Brock Osweiler. And you know what I concluded? I said it's not that he's awful in terms of ability. It's that he's scared. Scared to throw the ball. Remember, they say he overthrows, he underthrows. Pocket presence is questionable. Holds on to the football too long. This dude is hesitant to make things happen, which to me may have played a role in why he really, really left Denver as opposed to this $37 million in guarantees. What do you say to all of that, Merle?
Well, Stephen, I think there's some truth to it all. I think the biggest issue is that he does not function under pressure very well. And he can't throw the ball very well under it. He throws interceptions under it. To your point, he panics under it, makes bad decisions. But let me back up. This started to happen after halftime of the Pittsburgh Steelers game last year. And then more evidence and more evidence and more evidence and more evidence was piling up. People were starting to expose him. Now, obviously, Denver realizes this. Now Peyton gets better. They move Peyton back in there. That's one of the big reasons why. Now, if you want to go to what's happened, there's a couple things. Savage is going to be a starter. I'm telling you that right now. If you do not make Savage your starter, I watched him on tape. I studied it this morning before I came in. The offense is run at a more efficient level. There's just one area, there's many areas that stand out where it's different. But just ball placement. Even when he doesn't complete a pass, it's where only his receiver can get it. His accuracy, so guys could run after the catch. The energy in the receivers was really different. You could almost see it on the film. They were ready to roll. The offense ran at a more efficient level. He was better under pressure and under duress, perceived pressure or real pressure with his completions. Okay, that being said, somebody in Houston, I actually don't know who the actual decision maker is who says, this is who we're drafting. This is who we're going to get in free agency. That guy needs to be seriously evaluated now. You back up 3 years ago, you had the ability to take Khalil Mack, number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. You can start there, and you can go all the way to Osweiler. How you went and just got Osweiler without telling your coaches, what evaluation you did to come up with, hey, he is our guy, and to say it's better than what we have. Because Savage has been there. So that's like not even being aware of your roster. So there's problems in Houston from this perspective. You're stuck with Osweiler. Money-wise, you're stuck with him. But you cannot play him. It is apples to oranges in this one. It ain't even close.
But wait a minute. What role did O'Brien play in Osweiler coming to Houston?
None. From my understanding, none. That's why. And I can't remember. I don't know who the actual grocery shopper is, to use
Rick Smith?
Bill Parcells.
You don't know whether it was Rick Smith or the owner, because I know the owner didn't want them to draft Carr because he tried David Carr in 2002, and that ended up being a nightmare, and he didn't want to make the same mistake twice with another Carr. So that was a regret that he'll have forever, but I wasn't aware of anything else other than that.
Yeah, nobody was, I know this, the coaching staff was not, they did not discuss the staff of Osweiler before they went and got him. The coaching staff was just told, here he is.
Wow.
We're going to go get Osweiler. There's a 3-year span. There's a lot of mistakes. Evaluating mistakes. Not like, and I'm not talking, Stephen, it's not like we're talking about, man, I didn't see that coming. It was like, you told 9 out of 10 football people, and like, I didn't see it coming. Not 10 out of 10 had told you all the things that we just talked about. To make those decisions and not know and evaluating that level.
I got it. Gotta
come under scope now, bro.
Merrill
Gotta
Hodge,
be a question.
Merrill Hodge right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. So with all of that being said, let's stay within the AFC South. I see and sense your dismay about the quarterback position in Houston, primarily due to Osweiler. What do you make of what the hell has happened with Tennessee? They beat Kansas City yesterday. They're in first place in the AFC South. This is a team that I predicted weeks ago would probably win this division, but I'm still stunned that it's actually happened. Explain this to me. What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you this. When Mike Mularkey took over, he first of all created an environment that we're going to build this team around people who are going to invest and be team people. This is how, then we're going to go about this thing on offense. We are going to pound the football. We're going to run the football. We're going to build from there. We got Dick LeBeau, who's going to orchestrate and architect our defense. It's going to take a little time because we got a bunch of young players, and his scheme is not easy. It is a very complex scheme. Well, if you looked at what happened in Kansas City, the thing that showed up the thing that you had to be the most excited about since you picked them to win it, and I'm with you on board with that. I felt this from the very beginning of the year, is their defense made the play on third down where you would have taught it as a coach. You're like, listen, this is our possibilities. These are the things that could happen. When they ran the reverse speed option, I haven't seen Kansas City do it as a reverse. I've seen them run it, to one side or the other, but not reverse action and come out of it. And I'm telling you, the Titans had it nailed. The linebacker had the quarterback, DB had the pitch guy, and they didn't get an inch. When you can perform like that defensively and you can play like that from all different levels and get better there with what they're doing on the offensive side and special teams, you got a chance to get in the playoffs, because you control your own destiny. You just got to win your next two. All right, and one of them will be the Texans.
All right, Merrill, but what's the difference between DeMarco Murray in Tennessee and the DeMarco Murray we saw in Philadelphia last year under Chip Kelly?
Well, there's a ton of things. I mean, really basically two things. One, they cater to his strengths as far as a runner, downhill runs, power runs. You're not running laterally and read stuff, And listen, from a runner's perspective, you got to realize the difference. Stephen A. As a runner, when you're 8 yards deep and you're coming downhill, and somebody's turning around and handing you the football, and you got speed coming there, and then your instincts and your vision and all that, versus taking a lateral movement to the right, it's just a complete different mentality. It's a soft mentality when you're always going to the right. We're not even attacking downhill. I'm reading things. There's no power in football. In the NFL, you play between the hashes. You'll never play on the perimeter. People that want to play on the perimeter, they will never have a successful running game. You got to play in between the hashes a majority of the time. Now that part. And then his attitude and how he ran the football. I think you probably talked about it when he slid in Philadelphia. I don't remember if you remember this. I think it was a third down. I don't know what. It doesn't care what down it was, but he literally slid to not get hit. Now I don't care how bad it is. You just can't slide. You have to fit. You have to compliment what your guys are doing for you up front. Well, I'm telling you, he is complimenting his guys in what they're doing up front. Similar to what he did in Dallas a couple years ago when he was the leading rusher. He is complimenting the way he is running, the power with him he runs, and then they cater to his style.
Merrill Hodge right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Merrill, if I had to tell you, put you on a spot to pick your MVP, your league MVP right now, who would it be? Give me your top three. Give me your top three.
Ezekiel Elliott won it last night for me when he had that big run in the fourth quarter. Not that big run, though. When he's coming off, how many times have you seen people tap their helmet and go sit out for a play? I still have never understood that. Now, I played a long time, and I know there was a 5-year period. I never missed a play. I played every down, one through three. Big run, bad run, it doesn't matter. He waves, because actually somebody must have been going on the field because he waves them off the field. Goes back to the huddle. They hand it to him again. He runs through 2 tackles, breaks another block, gets 10 more yards. Okay? A rookie. Understand that's what you do. That's how you have to play it. If you want to be great, if you want to be a champion, that's the type of effort you have to have. That's the
QBR of 89. I mean, this dude is sensational. What's the problem?
I'm with you. It's ridiculous. When they give you the MVP award, they don't go how many games you play. They go how did you play? Period.
AFC. Is there anybody that can knock off New England?
Oh, absolutely. It's not New England and everybody else. Now, listen, they've gotten better. I mean, they're really good. But, listen, the Steelers go up there and give them everything they want. Kansas City, even though they lost, they're going there. The Raiders. But I do the Steelers match up the best of them all to walk in there. Kansas City wouldn't be a joke going up there. But I still, the best team, the team that has the most phases to their team, the most ways to win. And why I say that is because that's important. That's why, the Giants, I get concerned about the Giants, Detroit, and a few other teams because they don't have some phases to your team you need when you run into or get on a playoff run.
the Steelers last couple of weeks have won. You know, Ben didn't have a good game. They rushed for dang near 5,000 yards with Le'Veon Bell. Well, didn't have their A game yesterday against Cincinnati. A field goal kicker comes up big. You know, defense comes up big, and then they make a drive when they need to, when it matters. So they got a lot of different ways to win games. You don't have to always have your A player playing great. So they could give them a serious run for their money.
What about the Cowboys? I mean, are we at a point right now where we need to acknowledge and concede that the Dallas Cowboys may very well be playing in the Super Bowl? Are we there?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I know you were disturbed at me a month ago when I said that. And
yes, I'm still disturbed.
I know you're still disturbed.
Yes, I am.
You're probably more disturbed now than ever because now you probably got to believe it.
Yes, that's where I'm getting to the point, man. I'm getting very, very nervous about this. I'm getting very nervous about this, man. I really, really am.
Listen, I think there's only the best team to match up to them, obviously, has been the Giants. Now, if it happens in the third go-around, which has happened in my career, that happened too. You know, we've played divisional opponents the third go-around and lost 2 of them. And then the playoffs came around and we won. And you learn a lot about those first 2. And because they were so close, let's put it this way, I believe the Cowboys could tweak the things that they needed to tweak they didn't do well, i.e. the Giants played a lot of man, guys couldn't get free. They ran some pressures. Cowboys didn't handle very well. It wasn't just Dak Prescott. Guys weren't getting open for him, number one. Offensive line, they're supposed to be the best in football. A lot of metal busts in the running game and the passing game, okay? Those things, though, can be corrected. The one thing the Giants can't correct is their running game. It just doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist because they're bad up front as far as just blocking. It's easy to get off blocks there. They miss a lot of people. When you can't do that on a consistent basis, it's going to be hard to be good at it. And you can tell they don't believe in it now. They don't even emphasize it as much. Not to have that face when they need it. You still rely on that big play. And listen, their defense is about as legit and as good across the board as there is in football. But if you give now the third go-around with the tweaks you could add to it, I'd favor the Cowboys at home.
Oh, man.
I know what you want to hear, but
listen, I appreciate it, man. But before I let you go, by the way, real quick, who you got winning tonight between the Panthers and the Redskins?
Redskins. Their offense I'm telling you, this offense, people that don't watch the Redskins don't know a lot about the Redskins. Their offense is pretty special. You talk about phases, they got everything in football. And if it's on fire today, they could put a hammer to Carolina and they could go after Josh Norman and make his night miserable.
My last question to you is on a far more serious note. Did you see that video for this kid, Joe Mixon, out of Oklahoma?
I did.
You saw him hit that girl. Now, this is a guy that wants to come pro. How do you think this is going to affect him? Knowing what you know about the NFL.
As far as will people draft him? Like, yes, I don't know much about that. That's
what I'm asking. In terms of potential
there'll be a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams right now see that video who he won't even be a thought process. He won't even be on the board. He won't even be there. And I'm gonna tell you, Stephen, I don't know the kid from Adam. I don't even know what he is, kind of a player he is.
Yeah.
But I know there'll be a lot of teams that write him off, and then depending on how good he is, there'll be some other teams that look at him. I know that teams do a good job now of really doing their homework to make sure, and based on the sensitive subject of it, that there's some accountability. I know the punishment has been served. It's still disturbing. I think you guys had a great debate on First Take, and your views are awesome. And that, when you visually see it, it's just different than when you read it.
Yeah.
Because we read things and, it's just hard to visualize them. Then when you see it, it comes home. It is disturbing. But I know a lot of teams, the majority of teams will scratch them off.
I'm with you. Merrill Hodge, I appreciate you, buddy, as always. Thanks so much, man. If I don't speak to you before Christmas, happy holidays to you and yours. Love you, man. Always appreciate you. Thanks so much. Happy holidays.
Anytime, brother. Same to you.
All
See you,
right.
buddy. Bye-bye.
One and only Merrill Hodge right here with Stephen A. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. This 888-623-3646. Back to your phone calls and past hour number 2 back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Before I get into boxing, let me go to Lenny in North Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. and Mad Dog. Lenny, what's up, big baby? How are you?
What's up there, young man? How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for calling. What's going on?
Well, I got a lot of issues I got with this Joe Mixon thing,
yes,
and
sir.
I want you to try to clear something up for me.
Sure.
This happened in 2014, right? Yep. Why are we just seeing this now?
What happened is that what happened is that the school and the local authorities, I guess, had concealed it to my knowledge. My producers are here. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But the media petitioned to have the video, to petition to the courts to have the video released, and the courts didn't make that decision until a few days ago.
Okay.
So once they made the decision, then Nixon's lawyer himself released the video, because what he's saying is that we don't want this to wait, and then it pops up on us, when the kid is trying to get drafted.
Right.
So we want this out now.
I see the lawyer's point, but we should have known this back in 2014.
No. We all knew. No. We all knew about it because he was suspended for the year. So it was common knowledge that it happened. What wasn't common knowledge was the video. It was the video that was the problem.
What I'm saying, though, Stephen A., is I didn't know about it until y'all spoke about it on First Take today. I had no clue.
And I'm telling you, it's been all over the news the last few days. And number two, it was over the news at the time that it went down a couple of years ago. It was news. The only thing that's different now, the only thing that's new now is the actual video for us to see.
I must have been under a rock because this is the first I've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
So I must have been under it. That's probably on me.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, and I agree with Carlton. Mm-hmm. When Carlton said, she has to be held accountable as well.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. What he did, I watched the video. It's abhorrible. It's just terrible.
Right.
But
absolutely.
What Carlton said, she has to be held a little bit accountable too. And then one last thing I got to say on it real quick, Stephen A. Mm-hmm. I've seen some of my soldiers, some of my friends, I've seen guys where their wife is beating them with a frying pan, and he pushes her out of the way to get out the door. And you always say, walk away. But this woman will not let him walk away.
Well, no. That's not the only thing I've said. I've said, if you can hit them, you can restrain them without hitting them.
Yeah, but Stephen A., let me finish though.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a guy, I've seen it to my very eyes, push her out the way so he can get out of the house. But when he comes back an hour later, he gets locked up because he pushed her out the way. She was beating this man with a frying pan, Stephen A. Beating him with a frying pan. And he pushed her out the way so he can get out of the house. The only thing he did was push her out the way. That's the only way he put his hands on her. And I saw it. I saw it with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
He come back an hour later, he got locked up.
Yeah, the system has to address the issue of fairness. But let's be clear.
Yes, sir.
As many male victims as you and I can come up with, male victims of domestic violence, of being framed, or whatever the case may be, the numbers of women who are actual victims far outweigh the number of folks that you just brought up.
And I agree with you, but I used to work I used to volunteer at a woman's shelter. And a lady told me a long time ago, she said, look, there are 3 levels. You have domestic abuse, which is the largest level, where you come home and dinner's not on the table and you beat your wife. That dude needs to be there. I'll tell you about that later. But then you have a domestic assault,
right,
and then you have domestic violence.
Got it.
And this is what the lady was telling me. But if you push your woman out the way so you can get out the house.
Well, listen. Bottom line is this. We all know that there are cases like that where there are some men who are innocent and they end up getting screwed over. But the numbers show that's few and far between. I got to run, and I appreciate your point.
Ahead,
but you're right. I got it. But let's not act like the numbers don't far outweigh when it comes to women being victimized. Let's just be sensitive to that. I got 4 older sisters. I got 8 nieces. Let's be clear. Women primarily are victims in this. That cannot be denied. Let me transition to boxing for a second. Thank God Bernard Hopkins is retiring. He's 51 years of age. I have known him for over 20 years. I love Bernard Hopkins. And it was sad to see what happened this past Saturday. Bernard Hopkins was on the air. Was in the ring. And he swears that when he got knocked out of the ring, he got pushed and shoved. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bernard Hopkins got knocked out. Now, fair enough to him, he seemed lucid enough where he hurt his ankle or whatever, but wasn't able to get up because he had hit his head when he fell out the ring. But he wasn't shoved out of the ring. He was knocked out of the ring. Now, he wasn't knocked out or asleep or anything like that. But at the very least, he was concussed. And maybe he was concussed because he hit the back of his head to the floor when he fell. But that last shot, that left hook, that's what happened. That's what happened. Bernard Hopkins had no business in that ring against a power puncher at the age of 51. And thank God he said this is it for him. He ain't fighting again. I love my man. I'm happy he retired. I'm proud of the career he had. But that wasn't no shove. He got knocked out of the ring with a punch. That's number one. Number two, I hope this is a lesson to Roy Jones, because I found it a bit more than ironic that Roy Jones Jr. was doing commentary on this fight and talking about his pride and, you got to hold on to your pride and, he don't want to admit what happened, blah, blah, blah. Well, Roy, that could easily apply to you, who I also love. When it's your time, it's your time. Boxing is a deadly and dangerous sport. When you go out like that, don't come back. Especially in the case of Bernard because he's 51. But Roy, you've been knocked out a few times. And I sincerely hope that Roy Jones would continue doing a great job that he's doing for HBO and never step into the ring again. I just want to say that. Marcus in Atlanta, you're live with Stephen A. What's up? Marcus, go ahead.
Now there we are. Stephen A., happy holidays to you and Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So, since you bring up the point of Bernard Hopkins, I got a question before I make my statement about Roy Jones. What knockout was worse, Manny Pacquiao or Bernard Hopkins?
Manny Pacquiao was knocked out worse.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They both went night-night.
No. Look at the film. Look at the film. When Bernard Hopkins got knocked out of the ring, he hit his head to the back, and he was still lucid. He might have been concussed a little bit, but he was still lucid enough. I'm not saying that it would have been wise for him to get back up in there or anything like that. He certainly didn't get shoved out the ring, but he was awake. Manny Pacquiao was asleep. Out. When Juan Manuel Marquez hit him with that cross right, he was asleep. Literally asleep. Smelling salts and everything were required to wake him up. That's not what happened to Bernard Hopkins. That's not what happened. But just how he fell because he was already off balance and leaning out of the ring, and then he got hit in the jaw. He fell hard. But it wasn't like Pacquiao. Pacquiao was asleep. Let's be clear. Now go ahead.
All right, since you bring up Roy Jones, there's always been rumors of Roy Jones even just competing in amateur boxing. I remember, because you're an avid fan of MMA. MMA is on the cusp of becoming one of the bigger sports of the world. Not saying boxing isn't, but it has lost its trend with the stars going in and out. Nick Diaz, if you've ever watched Nick Diaz, if anybody from Mad Dog Sports has never watched Nick Diaz, watch his Pure Boxing. He's probably one of the best boxers in MMA. Okay. And Conor McGregor always is talking about fighting Floyd Mayweather. And to be honest, there is no comparison. There is none, because Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive boxer in the history of the world. Like any boxing, you bring up any boxer, he will out-defend them. He's so quick and so fast. That's the problem. But Roy Jones is always talking about how he'll want to box Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva is not the greatest at all at boxing, but they both have bad chins. I almost cussed for a second. Sorry about that. But the mere fact that Roy Jones wants to come back, he needs to think twice watching Bernard Hopkins.
Roy Jones should have thought twice years ago. He's been knocked out several times. I love him dearly. He's a friend. I don't want him fighting anymore. You get to a point where you get hit in the sport of boxing and your brain gets rattled and you can't take a punch the way that you used to. And when that time clearly has arrived, you don't need to be playing around. You need to call it a career. And that's exactly what Roy Jones needs to do. I got to go, Marcus. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. 888 Mad Dog 688-623-3646. Your phone calls to close out the show in a minute with Stephen A. on Mad Dog.
Mad Dog Unleashed.
Not say about LeBron. The defense got into it. Apparently, Kubiak, after their 16-3 loss to the Patriots yesterday, he encouraged players to speak up. And Russell Okung was going to speak, and quarterback Aqib Talib objected. Ultimately, the two started shouting at one another, and the two groups started shouting at one another. According to one player, pretty much your classic offense versus defense divide. Broncos defense is frustrated as hell. You know what time it is. They played on the field an average of 76 snaps in the last 4 games, including 81 plays against Jacksonville. That's a high number for any defense. Yesterday, they were on the field for 73 plays. They held Tom Brady to 16 points and still can't win because the offense can't do a damn thing. They're right. They're absolutely right. I understand. Mark in Kansas City, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, how you doing today, Steven?
I'm all right, in a rush. Got to get to some phone calls, but go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay. My grandpa is a Northwestern alumni, and he's a diehard Chiefs fan.
Okay.
So I was mad Chiefs lost, but I was happy because 5th straight Division II championship from Northwestern was a plus because he passed away Monday.
My condolences to you and your family, sir.
But I call the Titans game a trap game, just like Tampa Bay was a trap game, because I think Chiefs knew we had to play Denver. And we can win out. We could still win our division. And I think the Patriots better watch because last year we didn't have that healed kid. And I know he's done stupid stuff, but he's
done. Listen, it's more than stupid. You're going to hit and kick your pregnant lady?
Well, he's done it. Andy Reid is the kind of coach that you want to coach them kids because he.
I agree with that. I agree with that, but that doesn't excuse what he did. And anyone, not to say that you were excusing it because I know you're not, but I'm not going to get it. It wasn't a mistake. That's something more than that. By the way, was Tampa a bye week?
No, but
Tampa catch game.
I think it was a trap game. It's right before Denver.
All right.
So
all right. So you lost 2 trap games. Well, at some point in time, you just lost because how many traps can you have? You got to know better. But I got to run. Mark, call back tomorrow when we've got more time, buddy. Danita in Missouri, you're live with Stephen A. Danita, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Stephen A. First-time caller.
Thank you.
Listen to you every day.
Thank you so much.
I'll make this short because I know you're in a rush. It's almost 2 o'clock.
Yep.
But I wanted to comment on the Oklahoma player.
Go ahead.
As a female, watch sports all the time, and with the video coming out, and a lot of people are on the football player. As a female, I look at it as no person, male or female, need to be putting their hands on anyone. And when I saw the video this weekend, the first thing I thought about was, first of all, it was a white female. And second, how many times did she hit him? And no one ever looks at that. I know I'm not condoning what he did. However, he could have charged her with assault, just like she's charging him.
Listen, she's not innocent. She's not innocent, right. Danita. Let's be clear. Here's the flip side. You are over 200 pounds, and you crack this woman in the face and break 4 bones in her face. Danita, as much effort as it took to do that, you couldn't have expended just as much energy simply grabbing her to prevent her from hitting you without hitting her?
I don't disagree with you, but I know sometimes it could be a reaction thing. You know, you're not thinking about, I'm trying to crack her in the face.
And Danita, then he did it, drops her, and then walks out of the place like nothing happened.
I saw the video. Yeah. You know, after he did it, trust me, he probably regretted it. You know, it's like, let me get out of here. I know I made a mistake.
You and I both got to admit it didn't look that way. He just walked out.
Right.
You
it
know?
was a bad look, but, you know, the point I'm trying to make is, you know, we don't want no one, especially a male, hitting a female.
Right.
But some of the women also need to look at sometimes. Sometimes when you strike, it's a good chance you may get hit back. But it always looks bad when it's coming from that male, especially when you got videos and pictures and all of that, especially with, you know, from the Ray Rice incident. You would think people would learn from that, but, you know, sometimes it's a reflex, a reaction, but I'm not saying that I condone it, but I think sometimes they don't take in accountability what the female did as well.
Well, as a woman, I definitely appreciate you making that case, because I think you understand that we live in a day and age where if a male made that same provided that same perspective, it would not be received in the same manner. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. Danita left. I got to get on out of here. Mad Dog Russo's up next with his afternoon drive show. This is Stephen A. Smith signing off until 22 hours from now. Peace and love, everybody. I'll holler at you to imitate my man Adam Shine. Mañana.
Fantasy football player.